the concept of slut shaming is something that both genders do, and I think both genders suffer as a result. Right now we're in Birmingham. Tomorrow night's going to be Friday, and there's going to be some guy, well, millions of guys who are going to be going out, trying to meet girls, and doing their best to like get as far with those women as is humanly possible. And if they are unable to get the thing that they want from these women, which is going to be, they're going to feel miserable and they're going to feel like they're not good enough.
I wonder if it's as present or forward a feeling for them as that every time, or if they adjust their expectations or feel less heavy about it.
Men attach a significant degree of self-worth down to their ability to attract the opposite sex. So like with women, it's like the inverse is true, which is it's assumed that you can get men. It's just assumed. It's assumed that if you're a woman and you walk out onto the street and just say, hey, will you sleep with me? You're going to find a man who's going to say yes. Would you think you get an average woman who walks around just looking for someone to have sex with, she's going to find it difficult to find someone who will say yes?
In this scenario, I'm sure she could find someone. But I personally find it difficult to imagine the person who would say yes. I suppose if they were aware of she's going down this conga line of people.
They have no idea. She's just living her life just trying to find someone. Like the basic point is there's a woman who wants to get laid and she just starts asking random people.
Wow.
There isn't many people who would assume that woman would have a hard time finding someone to say yes.
Yeah. Oh, I understand. For the sake of the scenario,
okay.
I'll let it. Yeah. I just wonder what she would say.
I want to have sex. That's all she has to say. When I was at university, there was a girl who was going around trying to kiss as many men as she could in that night. And she kissed like 30 guys in one night. Because she just said, I'm trying to kiss guys. I want to kiss as many. And she kissed me. And apparently I was the best of the night, which is why I still remember. Yay me. But the point is, that's how easy we assume it is for women. But on the flip side, you would never expect a man to be able to just walk around and just say, I want to have sex with a woman, and then have that man find it easy. Men attach a lot of status and self-worth in their ability to attract the opposite sex because it's assumed to be difficult. That's why men call having sex getting lucky. It's called getting lucky because the assumption is it's a difficult thing to occur. And you're not even too sure how it happened. You got lucky. Tomorrow night, there's going to be loads of men who are going out trying to get lucky. But the thing is this, the thing that they want, that they're attaching all of this self-worth to, if women give it to them too easily, they lose respect in the women. Don't you dare give me this thing that I really want and need for my self-esteem too easily, because now you're actually a bad person. And they look down on the women, they'll try and like denigrate them and things like this. So then men actually perpetuate a system that they don't like because like I coach men. So I work with loads of men who can't get a woman at all for one reason or another, or maybe like to varying degrees. They're not having the romantic sexual relationships that they like, but they don't realize that they actually play into it. Every time you're with a woman and you call another woman a slut or something like that, you're just subtly letting her know that she has to shield that self or be very rigid with opening herself up like that, right? But so then like men will do that and be like, oh, why can't I get these women to do X, Y, and Z? It's like you're actually making it harder on yourself to whatever degree. But then on the flip side, women do stuff too. Society has placed like women in a bit of a sexual prison, right? Which is like, you have to act this way and you have to preserve your chastity. And if you don't, we're going to beat you down, which is really pronounced in the Islamic world, but is everywhere to a degree. I mean, from what I see, I mean, that can't be like a nice box to have to live in. But well, another thing I see is like women seem to be like, if we call this thing a prison, women are like prisoners who are in the prison who actively beat down other prisoners who try to escape the prison.
Yes, I think shame is a very sharp sword. Women are very competitive with each other.
Talk to me.
This illusion that women are hard to get actually creates a very attractive sort of chastity belt around her because men don't really like to share. Men are territorial, they dominate. They don't really want to be with a woman that's easy because there's this perhaps subconscious assumption that she's sleeping with other men If she said yes to you tomorrow night and went back to your place, there's a part of you that might feel slightly disgusted, suspicious. Perhaps it wasn't anything to do with you at all. There's insecurity and invalidation attached to when we do get what we want. We start asking a lot more questions like, why did she say yes to me?
They want something, feel pain when the thing that they want is difficult to get, but at the same time are very, very, very traumatized when that thing that they really want actually comes in a manner that seems too easy.
Yeah, sometimes we enjoy wanting more than having. We scrutinize sometimes the things that do come into our life. If you do have an ounce of insecurity, then it'll fester into every kind of situation you find yourself in. Women also are quite pointed when they make a decision to slut shame other women, because you can use it to sort of divide each other or tear other women down and make a path for yourself. It's a manipulative thing to do, but like I said, like shame is a very sharp, painful thing that you can wield against other people. The culture of slut shaming is kind of ridiculous when you look at us as a species. We should be free to procreate. Essentially, that should be on our minds all the time, and we should...
Kind of is, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. In some ways, we're far too intelligent for the animals that we are. We're having a discussion about this instead of doing it. It's
That'd
almost...
make for an interesting podcast, though, wouldn't it?
Yes, it's hilarious. We really enjoy thinking about things, and we think that our thoughts can bring us closer to the things that we want. I think men really, really, really love to talk about sex. They like to talk about the reasons why women do and don't want them, and find ways to make themselves more ideal. And women have tons of resources of what exactly to say to a guy, how to present yourself to get the man of your dreams. And we're all slaves to rule books and modern guides. I think that the slut shaming thing, hopefully it passes. It seems like a more and more cruel and archaic way to categorize a person, call them a slut. It's quite mean.
Because they're not really hurting anybody.
No, not at all. If a woman is like finding pleasure for herself, to throw your insecurities and like pain on her, being upset with her because of what she's doing, maybe because it's something that isn't in your life as much as you wish. Sometimes other people's freedom can offend other people.
I find slut shaming to be really interesting because it's seen as like a moral issue. I've never really been able to understand why it's a moral issue, because it's like, okay, you punch me in the face. Well, you're directly causing me pain. Who knows, maybe you break my cheekbone. Maybe you cut my eye and make me blind in one eye. Like, you're actually harming me. Wow. Right? So you have done something that has hurt me in some way. You steal money from me. Well, I worked really hard to get that money. And now you've taken it. So now, like, I have lost the benefit of all of the time that I spent working for that money. You've made my life directly worse. You lie about me, you gossip about me, maybe you mislead me, and you're actively doing things that are hurting me. I've never really had a valid reason given for me why a woman embracing her sexuality is a moral issue. Because outside of the possibility of transmitting an STD, which both parties are clearly aware of when they get into it.
Oh, yes.
No one's ever given me a good reason as to why that's actually a moral issue.
I think it's probably a faux concern. People are finding an avenue to do two things: to judge her and also
try to expel their own shadows.
Yeah, they don't really care about her. People may not actually have a great concern or interest in how this woman leads her life, but they found an opportunity to have some moral high ground, and that's exciting for them. When we see someone doing anything wrong, it gives us this opportunity, I suppose, to criticize them and think to ourselves or tell our friends, like, how could they? I would never. Ugh, so stupid.
There's this belief, which I don't think is completely wrong, which is that the most staunchest, like, anti-gay people are people that harbour gay tendencies themselves, right?
Yeah,
You know, like you got some man who's a Christian pastor and deep down,
they're just
deep down, he's got these wants and these needs.
Yeah,
but he hasn't come to terms with them.
Yeah,
and then it's a version of that.
They're criticizing a mirror, basically.
They're standing in front of a mirror and they've got like a hammer. They're trying to shatter the person that they can see in the mirror.
Yeah. I think it's
But
also...
all they're doing is breaking the mirror. They're not hitting the person. They want to. They're hitting the mirror to hit the person, but they're not. They're just destroying the mirror.
Yeah, I think that there's different streams of hate as an emotion, you know? Sometimes we even hate the things that we want because we think that they're unobtainable for us. It could be passion, love, money.
Men do that with beautiful women.
Yeah, some men really hate beautiful women
because they don't think.
Yeah,
that's why men get really angry at OnlyFans women. That's why.
And murder women.
Who? Oh, murder.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking it.
Oh, I thought you said like murder women. Like there's a type of woman called a murder woman. I'm like, what the fuck's a murder woman?
I could make a joke, but no. No, I'm taking things to like the 10th degree there. But some men do despise women to that point where they actually want to execute and erase the fact that they exist at all, because in their reality they can only face rejection with that person, so they're taking over the moment and saying, I'm going to eradicate your existence pretty much.
I agree.
Sorry, I know it's super extreme, but I'm just
trying
to create the scale of...
No, I agree. Because I think there's women that do the same thing. When you think of like your stereotypical like hardcore feminist, right? It's like masculinity is bad and I don't like men. They're usually women who aren't getting the most attraction or the most attention from men.
Oof. It's just making me laugh, I think, because I know that can't possibly be true.
When you go online and you find like the most angry ones, I tend to have seen correlations, and I've seen people online who have also noticed correlations.
And I've seen a couple clips on different podcasts where men who are really disparage women, and they're upset with the statistics of men and boys not being accepted or being lucky in love enough because women are making women's standards are too high is essentially the point. The person saying that is just so bitter and so unattractive.
But this is my point.
But not just physically, their attitude, their perspective on life is so unenlightened. It's so hopeless. They're so definite on the fact that women have given up. The way that you feel when you listen to it should be an indicator of what side you're on. Like, if it invigorates you, then you're also tapping into your own insecurities like he is, you know? And isn't it grand that we can just complain into the ether, you know? But there's not a lot of productive talk afterwards about becoming better people. I think Jordan Peterson is kind of interesting because he's balancing between giving very good advice, but sometimes really taking on a ton of empathy for men who are essentially incels.
Yeah.
He really feels for them, and he tries to give them some advice on how to get out in the world, you know, almost like, you know, go kick a ball, like go into the sunshine and make some friends.